Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina and today I'm talking about some dupes. If you've been on my channel before, then you've probably seen that I've talked about this company called ShopHush before. If you haven't been here before, then you haven't heard me talk about ShopHush, so I will give a little overview of what ShopHush is. So ShopHush is a phone app or even a website. They do have a website that you can order from as well, but a lot of people like to use it as the phone app and it sells makeup. But I think the thing that they are most known for is their dupe palettes. And there is a brand that ShopHush sells called Bad Habit, and they do amazing dupe palettes. I've talked about them in my last ShopHush video where I talked about this palette. This is the Aphrodite palette by Bad Habit, and it's a Huda Beauty dupe for the Rose Gold palette, which is being discontinued. And I've talked about this, I've worn it a lot in videos, and I've spent some time talking about this. Now this palette is almost always sold out. It's really hard to get to, and the next thing I'm going to be talking about is no exception. Bad Habit has decided to come out with another palette, guys. This is the Athena palette, and this is also a Huda Beauty dupe, and I mean, even the packaging is absolutely stunning. I mean, it looks like the Aphrodite palette for the most part. It has a nice weight to it. Both of them feel like they weigh about the same. This one actually feels slightly heavier, and as I open it up, can you guys guess what dupe this is? This is a dupe for the Desert Dusk palette that Huda Beauty just came out with a few months ago, and this is stunning. It is what I am wearing on my eyes right now. I will be inserting clips of me applying it. This sold out so fast. I had my email notifications on for this so I could get it. This retails for $10, guys. The Huda Beauty one is $65. $10 versus $65. I don't actually have the Huda Beauty one because I'm just too cheap to buy a $65 palette, especially because typically these colors don't really appeal to me, and I honestly feel like these two palettes aren't that much different. This one is more pink toned, this one is more purple toned, but they are quite similar, honestly. And I would much rather spend, I would spend $40 on a palette, but $65 is really pushing it for me on eyeshadows, especially when they're colors that I don't really go for. So that's the reason I really like to go for these palettes, because they are only $10 each and they're actually quite stunning. A little bit of more overview on the Desert Dusk palette, the actual real palette. It is again $65. It comes with 18 shadows, which is the same as this. It comes with 1 Dazzling Glimmer, 8 mattes, 6 shimmers, and 3 duochromes, and so does this guy. Literally, the colors are almost identical. They changed the layout a little bit in this one in comparison to the actual palette. Now, again, I don't have the actual Huda Beauty palette to actually compare swatches and colors for you, but there is a YouTuber that you guys can go check out that does a phenomenal job with the swatches. Her name is MELINDA, and I will link her down below. She is also a small YouTuber, and she just did a fantastic job. She compares swatches of each color next to each other, and guys, I was shook watching it. So obviously I can't do that, so definitely go over to her video if you are interested in seeing swatch comparisons. I will be swatching all of the colors for you guys on my hand. That way you guys can see pigmentation and application. Now, I don't personally like finger swatches very much because I don't think they actually show how they apply to the eyes, but they do give a pretty good idea of what the colors look like. And again, I haven't worn these shadows all day yet, so I don't know how they wear, but if they're like the Aphrodite palette, then they're gonna be phenomenal. So I think that's pretty much the overview over with. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the swatches of this palette. So I'm gonna start with the 8 mattes. For the swatches, I'm gonna be doing them on my hand right here. So the first color I'm gonna take is the color Valor. I just went over a couple times, so that is Valor on my hand. That is the first one swatched. Now I'm gonna take the one right next to it, Purity. Purity. I don't know why I said it like that, guys. It's kind of hard to see on my hand, but as I was swatching it, it was crumbling. This one I actually put on my eyes today and it didn't crumble or have any fallout on my eyes, so that's just a good shadow to show that it's just really, really soft, and so when you do a finger swatch, it becomes crumbling. The next color I'm going to swatch is Truth, which is, oh, you guys can't see it, which is the one right next to those. I'm taking it on a different finger. There it is on my finger. It kind of looks like a poopy brown. And there it is right above Purity. Now I'm going to take the color right next to Truth, which is Heroic right here at the end. The last matte on this row. And this is a really pretty like rust orange brown color. Ooh, yeah. I actually used this on my lid today too. And it is so stunning. Look at that. Next, I'm going to go down to the second row and take Justice, which is the purple color. I used this on my lid today as well. And this one didn't have as much pigment, yeah, as I was putting it on my lids. And as you can see, that's a pretty sheer wash for a purple. So now I'm going to take the next color, Lure, which is this really pretty orange color. I'm going to try and speed it up. That way this video isn't 5 years long. And there is Lure above that one. That one is really, really pretty. The pigment is nice on that one. And a lot of these feel really smooth, guys. And I have other high-end eyeshadow palettes that feel very similar to these. Overall, these are just impressive. I'm going to take the color Power next, which is right next to Lure. It's this beautiful, like, blood red color. Really, really nice pigment. And then I'm going to take this last matte, which is down here, and it's called Clever. I'm going to take it on a clean finger. I'm going to swatch it underneath everybody. That one also swatches beautifully, nice and creamy. And as you can see, there are all of the mattes. So next I'm going to go ahead and get the Dazzling Glimmer out of the way on this palette because I've already swatched it and you guys just have to see this. So the Dazzling Glimmer is this one at the bottom. It is absolutely stunning. It was the first thing I saw when I opened this palette, but let me swatch it. It feels good. Like as I'm swatching, it doesn't feel chunky. It doesn't look bad on my finger, mildly chunky, but watch what happens when I try to swatch it on my hand. Oh, actually, it didn't do that bad this time. So the first time I ever tried to swatch this, it looked like this down here at the bottom where it gets really skippy. Kind of like when you use glitter glue and it doesn't quite adhere very well. But the top actually looks better. Let me try it with a different finger. So here it is on a different finger. It's not looking too bad now. I think if it's applied with a wet brush, that'd be great. But let's see if you guys can see this. Do y'all see that? Look how it's like getting indented and crumbling away. It already looks like I've used it a ton. I've literally not ever worn it on my eyes. So next I'm going to go into the shimmers, and they're kind of scattered throughout the palette, kind of all over the place. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do those. There's 6 of those. I'm going to start on the first row with the color Fierce. There is Fierce. It's a mild color in the pan, so I don't know why I'm surprised that it's a mild color on my hand. I'm going to take the color Triumph next. That is pretty. Y'all see that? It's like a taupe gray color. That's not a duochrome, is it? That might be one of the duochromes. I think that's a duochrome, guys, so scratch that. Let me just do the other 2 duochromes with it. I'm gonna take Gleam. There's one of the other duochromes. These duochromes are actually really, really, really soft. And then I'm gonna take the last duochrome, Epic. Oh, this one feels dry and a little bit more crumbly. Epic's the one right here at the end. It's a little more crumbly on my hand, and it felt while I was swatching it a little on the drier, crumblier side. But I feel like with a wet brush, that one would probably apply well. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into just the regular shimmers. We've already done Fierce, so I'm gonna skip that. So there's just 5 other shadows to get through. So there are the last 5 colors. Those are really pretty shimmers. I think Medusa and Divine, these 2, Medusa and Divine, are probably my favorites. Those felt really good, and I do have Medusa on my lid today, and it applied really well. It did have some fallout while I was applying it, but overall, a really pretty color. And after swatching all of these, the palette's still relatively clean. The only one that's worrying me is the glimmer, and I noticed as I was applying it on my eyes today, too, it didn't really have much like fallout in the pan. There was a little bit because, I mean, they're eyeshadows, so I expect there to be a little bit of a mess. But other than that, I think these shadows are amazing and totally worth it. So basically, guys, this is my whole dupe video wrapped up. I've done the swatches. I've inserted clips of me applying it on my eyes. If you hear noise, it's my dog chewing on his treat right underneath my feet. I'm so sorry, guys. I just realized he was doing that. If you have not downloaded the ShopHush app, I highly recommend it. You can get it on Android and Apple. And I would sign up for email notifications for whenever either of these palettes come back into stock. And I think these are great dupes. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. And if you aren't yet, I'm judging you right now. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I do upload on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and I don't want you guys to miss out on any of my content. And hopefully that means I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!